Hey, folks, welcome to Older and Wiser. I'm Bob Bates in Los Angeles, joined by my friend Susan Sikora up there in Northern California. We like to look at surveys. So today we found this one in the Hollywood Reporter. The folks at Nielsen say, according to their survey, viewers today feel overwhelmed by too many choices. Boy, do I get that.
You know, my problem now is I don't mind having a lot of really good stuff to watch, all right?
Yeah, you used to want more stuff. I feel like we almost have too much good stuff.
My problem with it, though, is that one show that you want to see is on this channel, and then another one is on that channel or network or streaming service.
Right.
And it's like I've got one thing here and one thing, and then next thing you know, you've got to pay an extra fee for each one of these because you're watching one show.
It can get very expensive to watch TV these days. It used to be free when we were young. Now everything costs something.
Everything costs. That's true.
46% of streaming consumers, people who watch like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Apple TV, and all the rest, 46% feel overwhelmed by all the shows out there. That's like almost half of the people who subscribe to these things feel like, whoa, it's too much. I can't handle it.
Well, I think the problem comes, for me anyway, the problem comes not from too much good stuff to watch, but the good stuff that I like. I have to be more discerning now about what I really like. So I think that's been helpful as opposed to, well, I'll put this on because it's the only thing on.
Yeah.
You have to make a choice now. You have to think about it. And your friends, everybody's got something different that they like. It's very interesting. Friends will say, you should watch this, or you would love that. And
right, I hear that all the time, and my wife does too. And she hears this from people who tell her, oh, you've got to watch that, the movie about the French chef. That's really fantastic. And so that night at dinner, we have to watch the movie about the French chef. So we're influenced heavily by friends' opinions, and it all depends on which friend provides the opinion as to whether we're going to like it or not.
Well, I will sample something. I mean, I've had a couple of friends tell me about things, like somebody told me about The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel when it first hit the air, and I didn't have the streaming service at the time, and I do now. And the person who told me about it was right. I loved it immediately. The opening, whatever the first line was, I was in. But that person has also told me about some other things, which I thought, okay, because that first suggestion was on the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
But exactly, it's not always the case. And so I'm now, because there's so much also, I'll give it maybe one episode or two. But after that, if they haven't got me, I'm out.
Well, good for you to give these shows an episode or two. We have a tendency, just because of the sheer volume of possible programs, we do a 5-minute test. Like we will start at HBO Max and we'll see there's 3 new things and we'll give each one 5 minutes. If it doesn't get our attention, next we move on and on. And I feel like that's not fair to the people who produce these things, because often we find too that you don't get into it in the first 5 minutes. Sometimes the good stuff kind of builds slowly and you get into it in the second or third episode, and then it can become your favorite show.
You have a point there, but it's something like Succession. I love Succession.
That's a great example. Did that grab you immediately in the first 5 minutes?
There was no way I wasn't going to watch the second episode when it was on. And there was no way I wasn't going to stay around for season 2 after season 1. And I almost went cuckoo when we didn't have, was it season 3, because of the pandemic.
Here's another interesting bit of information. Deadline Hollywood reports that 1/3 of U.S. Netflix subscribers share their passwords. Now, I always thought this was a flaw in their system, to let you somehow share your password with your kids or your friends who don't live in your house, but they don't have a good way of stopping that, so people have been doing it for years.
You know what? I really think at some point you have to stop counting the nickels and dimes and get them into the tent, and I think that's what they're going to find.
Maybe that you're probably right. That is probably their philosophy, is that we're losing some money, but we're making so much money.
Well, you're getting eyeballs on the screen, and that's the point.
You give it away for a while. It's like crack. You give it away for a while, sort of let people steal it, taste it, enjoy it. Then they all get hooked. So all these kids, by the way, this is very popular. This sharing of Netflix passwords is very popular among kids. You get them sharing it, and then eventually they can't share it. They're going to buy it because they love it and they're hooked. But if they never tasted it, they would never purchase it in the future.
Probably true. I would have used the example of like Famous Amos cookies.
Not crack? You would have gone for cookies rather than crack. I get you.
See what kind of tumult we're living in.
64% of respondents say they pay for and use Netflix in their own household, while 33% say they have some sort of sharing that they're doing either with their
sharing things. And I've shared with somebody on one situation. I've exchanged one outlet for another that they didn't have, and so I think what's happening is you're paying one rate, and there's probably X number of outlets you can have in a house.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay that regardless of whether you're using them.
I think that's what they can do if they really feel the need to limit it, is to, allow just so many playing at one time, and then that limits how many people can use it.
Don't discard the other thing that's happening here. We said you're getting eyeballs to the screen, okay? And people are sampling and they're enjoying things and becoming, if in your words, addicted, which is, I don't argue with that. People are also talking to their friends. So there's that word of mouth advertising that they can do or not. They can do advertising if they want, but they pay for it. So if they advertise, for instance, if somebody like on Prime TV shows you what they're going to show on, and they advertise on like CNN, okay, then fine. But I think my saying something to a friend and saying, hey, have you seen, I don't know how many people my friends are tired of hearing me tell them to watch Succession, but the ones who have said, wow, it's really good. You were right.
More eyeballs. That's what it's all about. All right. Let's talk about food for a while. We love to talk about food. A few quick surveys today. As reported on the website mashed.com, we're going to talk about bagels, pizza, ice cream. But first, those labels on the foods you buy in the store. Specifically, want to talk about like organic and cruelty-free. Do we read those labels, and do we even care, Susan?
Yes, if something is labeled organic, I want to be able to trust. At some point, you have to trust the system.
You do at some point have to trust the system. In our Ralphs, we have a whole vegetable section that's all organic, and the prices are about 20% or 30% higher. And then there's the other section, which isn't labeled anything. Now, I don't really honestly know the difference. What's happening with the organic? Do they not use pesticides? Is that what it is?
Pesticides and chemical fertilizers.
Oh.
They use more, natural growing methods. And, I can't vouch for everybody and every farmer and every product, but usually it's not stuff that's, a chemical that has to be blended together, and, it's fine and it's clean and it's safe, but what are the side effects of the chemical?
I will say that we do purchase organic milk, 2% milk, and honestly, not because it seems safer, it just lasts longer. For some weird reason, the organic milk doesn't go bad as quick as the regular milk.
I can't weigh in on that. I don't drink milk.
According to Food and Wine, people tend to care more if the product is cruelty-free than whether it's organic or not. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely do. If I will pay a little more for my eggs. I mean, granted, I live in an area where the eggs are pretty plentiful and fresh and wonderful and all that. But yeah, I will. If it's cruelty free, unless it's a tight week for me financially, absolutely, I will. I'll buy 6 eggs instead of 12, and I'll buy the organic ones or I want to know that the chickens ran around.
And had a happy life. You want your chickens to feel.
They've even said, I've read things that say that they're, if with the stress of being crunched in and not having enough space to breathe and run around, and they're just, until they produce whatever. No.
I know. Listen, you got to be nice to your chickens. Actually, interestingly, my daughter, Chloe, lives in Texas, and she just this week purchased 3 chickens to put in her backyard.
A lot of people do that now.
Yeah, and she's going to harvest the eggs. They're hens, she's going to harvest the eggs, and she's just in heaven feeding the chickens, and she bought a chicken coop and all of that. And so cruelty-free these chickens will be for sure. In fact, she sent us some pictures. They actually have little toys, little chicken toys that they can play with in their coop.
Now wait a minute. They're in a coop. How many of them are there?
There's 3 in the coop, and they can go outside too. She lets them out and roam around the yard during the day, and then at night they live inside the coop, and they all sleep together on a little pole that's inside the coop.
Here's the question: has she tried the eggs yet?
No, not yet. So that's the big exciting next step. So we're going to fight.
I'm going to bet, if I were a betting woman, I would say she's going to say that these eggs taste better.
2 of Chloe's chickens will be laying brown eggs, and 1 of her chickens will be laying turquoise eggs. I have no idea what kind of chicken that is.
Yeah, they do. You know what? There was a piece on that Sunday morning show on CBS, which I love, and they did years ago. There was some couple that was raising chickens. I think it was in like Bolinas or something, out near the ocean in Northern California. And when you saw the eggs, they were different pastel colors. There was a blue and kind of a green, not bright, but just really soft colors. And I thought, ooh, that's kind of interesting.
It's kind of like Easter eggs.
A little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, there's nothing cruel about a bagel, I guess. At least we hope not. A survey conducted by YouGov reveals that 62% of people prefer eating their bagels 1/2 at a time. So now we're talking how you like to eat your bagel. Do you like to have it 1/2 at a time, or do you smash it together and create a little sandwich out of it?
If I'm having it in a really good deli and they've got like a white fish salad to put in there, then of course it'll all be together and I'll just look like a pig eating it. But in fact, I have gotten to the point where if I have a half a bit, bagels are large.
They are large. It's a lot, and the bread is dense. So if you bite the top and the bottom together, there's hardly, you got to have a lot of cream cheese in the middle to like make that mushy enough to chew up.
I'll take mine because I'm not going to eat, I'm not going to eat bagels like, I'm going to beat the clock here and I've got to hurry up and get these bagels and start going bad. However, what I will do is I'll have, like, if I get them at the store, I'll get them and I'll slice them in half and then I'll freeze them.
Yes, freeze your bagels. Oh boy, that's a great tip. I don't think to slice mine in half before I freeze them. I just go ahead and freeze them, and they're sort of pre-sliced, but I also have to pry the 2 sides apart. Good idea. Cut them all in half before you freeze them. Beautiful.
Same thing with bread. If you get a loaf of baked bread, I love it when it's fresh baked and it's not sliced. But if I want to have a couple of slices, if it's right out of the oven, and then put the rest of it in the freezer, I'll slice it, because to try to slice frozen bread is nuts.
Okay, let's talk about pizza. According to a recent survey reported on MASH.com, 25% of respondents from the Northeast in the U.S. say they fold their pizza. 18% of those living out here in the West do that, but the folks in the Midwest say, no. Only 6% would even consider folding a slice of pizza. Are you a folder, or are you a flat eater?
Oh, I fold it, because if it's loaded with stuff, and I usually get vegetarian pizza because I'm not a big meat fan at all. But that's just me. But if I want mushrooms and I want the artichoke hearts and whatever it is that's on there that's healthy, I don't want to drop it all over the place.
By the way, do you like thin crust or deep dish better?
I prefer thin crust, but I don't mind thick crust. But yeah, I mean, thin crust is great. But if you're going to load the pizza up with a lot of, especially if you get a vegetarian pizza and you load it with a lot of vegetables, those can get heavy.
Yeah.
And then you definitely have to fold it.
YouGov also asked about that, by the way. 47% of the survey participants preferred a thin crust, while 31% of the survey participants preferred a deep dish pizza. So, neener, thin wins. There you go. Thin pizza is the best. Yes. Officially.
I don't understand also people who, if you really like pizza, do you eat your crust?
Well, I think the people don't eat their crust, not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just a lot of bread without the good stuff, without the cheesy, saucy stuff. So I don't think there's, again, there's no ethical dilemma here. It's just how much bread do you want to eat that has nothing on it. So I say, if I'm hungry, I'll eat the crust. If not, I just leave the crust.
I almost never leave the crust. I don't care whether it's thin, thick, whatever.
Truth is, I almost never leave the crust either, especially on the thin crust because there isn't much of a
not that
edge.
much pizza.
Just gobble it. And I don't want to leave a mess on the plate.
Right, well, I don't. That I'm not going to worry about. That
I was taught to clean my plate.
Well. you're
Okay,
lucky.
let's talk ice cream. YouGov also found that 74% of women like to consume ice cream year-round. 63% of men like to consume ice cream year-round. 17% say they will only eat it when the weather is warm, and 7% do not eat ice cream at all. I guess the reason not to eat ice cream at all would be lactose intolerance. Otherwise, I can't imagine why people would not enjoy the deliciousness of ice cream. What is wrong with them?
24/7, and don't worry about the lactose intolerance because if you're with somebody older, they have it too at that point. If you're home alone, who cares?
Yeah, I think I would take any sort of medication to be able to eat ice cream. Ice cream is one of my all-time favorite things. By the way, chocolate's the winner in terms of favorite flavors with 17% of the vote. Vanilla comes in second place with 15%. Strawberry, butter pecan, and mint chocolate bring up the rear.
I like all of those except I'm not a strawberry fan.
Okay, let's talk about eyes. The online eyewear company Lens Store did a survey recently of 2,000 of its customers to find out which celebrity eyes do we find most attractive. So they ask all their folks, and they put pictures of these folks' eyes up. And so I'm going to give you the results. We'll start with the men. We're going to count down from 5 to number 1. Okay, so here is, of the men, here is number 5. Tell me what you think. There you go. Can you see that?
Oh, all right.
That is Cristiano Ronaldo. He is a soccer player, famous soccer player.
All right, nice eyes.
Nice. What do you think? Brown eyes. Okay. Yeah. Number 5. Number 4, this is Bruno Mars. You know, I think these almost look like girls' eyes, sort of.
I was just going to say the same thing. That does not look like Bruno Mars' eyes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But he's he looks very young. He must be pushing 40, but he looks really good. Here's one you'll like. Do you know who this is with the blue eyes? He's one of your favorites. I'll give you a hint. The UK.
Go ahead.
He's a royal. He's a royal. Prince William.
William? Oh, okay.
That's Prince William. Yeah,
Nice.
number 3.
I tend to like blue eyes, but okay.
Okay, you're a blue-eyed girl. Here we go. This is a young guy. I'll give you that. You know who that is? He's number 2.
I don't know who that is.
That's Harry Styles. He's got those gray-green eyes.
Yeah, nice eyes. Again,
Fun guy, good entertainer. Okay, so here's the number 1 male eyes. See what you think. Describe them for me and see if you know who that is.
Look like a light hazel eye almost. I don't know. I can't tell.
That is Paul Rudd. He also was, as you know, a People's Sexiest Man of the Year, I think, in 21.
Now, if you had put up the late Paul Newman's eyes, I probably would have known this. He had.
Yeah, the old folks are easier to recognize than the younger people.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the ladies now. Here is that is with the blue eyes. That's Margot Robbie. Isn't she beautiful? I think she's a very, very pretty actress.
Now remember, with the women, they can use eye makeup. They can use eyeliner.
Oh yeah, and we're going to see some here. Here's this is Zendaya.
Okay, Zendaya has a little too much mascara on for me, and I would not use such a heavy black especially on the underlid. I'm just criticizing the makeup at this point.
But the eyes, I think those eyes are very pretty and beautifully shaped.
Her eyes are pretty. She doesn't need that much makeup, but if she's performing, she might.
Okay, so if you thought that was too much makeup, I don't think you're going to like this one. These are this is sort of a cat eye look, and that's
It's going up to her eyelid.
That's Ariana Grande. She's number 3 in our list.
Wow, and she's a beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl with or without makeup, I think. Those pictures seem to show her with a lot of makeup. All right. Number 2, I like this actress.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
You're unimpressed. You seem unimpressed with Scarlett's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I'm looking, I guess because I'm another woman, I'm looking at the eye makeup. I am.
All right. I can agree with their assessment on the number 1 female eyes. Say whatever you think of this musician, this singer, artist, songwriter. She does have very beautiful blue eyes, and I think you can't really argue.
Yes, she does have.
That-
She almost has a blue eye that, and I don't know again because the picture could make a difference, but she almost reminds me of the blue eye that they always said like Elizabeth Taylor had violet eyes. And
Yeah.
every time Elizabeth Taylor, I've looked at a million pictures of her probably. I'm exaggerating, of course, not literally. I never saw the violet, but I could see where people might think it's like a blue violet.
A
maybe.
blue violet. Do you know who this is? Can you tell who that is?
I can't.
Singer-songwriter. She's very, very popular. She writes about her ex-boyfriends all the time.
Who is she?
Multi-Grammy award-winning singer, Taylor Swift.
Oh,
That's Taylor. It's hard to tell. It's funny that we aren't able to discern who a person is just by looking at their eyes. I would have thought a celebrity, we'd be able to look at their eyes and know exactly who they are.
These could be younger, newer celebrities that I don't follow as closely, perhaps. Although Ariana Grande, I do like her, and I've seen her do a couple of things, and I really kind of watch now when she's on. But and Bruno Mars, I love watching. Bruno
He's
Mars.
great, right? Super talented.
Yeah, but I don't know. The thing is, these people, if they're performing on stage, you don't see them as close up as if they were movie stars. For example, Elizabeth Taylor that I mentioned, everybody said she had the violet eyes. But the point is, most people saw Elizabeth Taylor on a big movie screen, so when there was a close-up, you really saw her eyes. You were in space, okay?
That's right.
Whereas Ariana Grande is performing on a stage. They're not just going to take her eyes. She's at a piano or she's doing things, and you're going to see the whole picture. You might see a shot of her face from one side or the other, but they're going to move the camera around because she's performing. So I think that works in.
I also wonder how many of these celebrities use colored contact lenses to enhance the color of their eyes.
That could be another thing too. People do that.
30% of our respondents revealed that they think that eyes are the most important feature when they're interested in someone.
Yeah, probably.
When you met Skip, did you look into his eyes and go, those are some good eyes?
Look into his big blue eyes. Yes, I did.
31% admitted they will make eye contact with someone to let them know they're interested in them romantically. I suppose that's kind of a common thing.
Because I think when you look into someone's eyes, the eyes are the windows of the soul and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. That's you're not going to stare at somebody's mouth.
Yeah, if you're really talking to them,
I really
and you're
like
interested in them, you want to get the feedback, and the eyes are the way to get the feedback.
Yeah, I'm not going to stare at your left ear.
Okay, that's about it for us today, folks. We're glad you joined us. Susan, your final thoughts for the day.
Final thoughts for the day. Oh, fold your pizza.
Okay. Fold your pizza, especially if it's got more than one ingredient on it, I think.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You might lose it in your lap.
And don't bother with a fork and knife. If you want to go to a pizzeria and you ask them for a knife and fork, if I owned the pizzeria, I'd say you want to go to the place down the street.
For all the stuff that matters when you're 50 plus, visit us at olderandwiser.com. We're glad you joined us today. See you next time, Susan.